Hey YouTube, Contact Hunters there, doing another action figure review, and today we're having a look at one of the Hammond Collection Jurassic Park or Jurassic World Dominion. I think it's Dominion. Does it say Dominion on it? I'm not sure. I could be wrong. It's a Jurassic World anyway. Iterator. Now, I'm not sure if this dinosaur appears in the film. I don't believe it does, but I could be wrong. But most of the Hammond Collection figures, and pretty much 90%, with the exception of one or two, are based on the dinosaurs as they appeared in the movies. So I'm not too sure about the Iterator here. It does show an image on the box. It says Hammond Collection on the side. It has the Jurassic World logo. Normally, if they're from a specific movie or a specific series, they actually have the, like for example, the Jurassic Park 3 Velociraptor has Jurassic Park 3 on the side of it. But there's a brief write-up on this thing saying, living up to the name, the Iterator is a ferocious and aggressive carnivore that has a long snout and primarily feeds on fish. So I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing the name correctly. Irritator. I think it's Irritator. So I'm not sure how they came up with the name of it, but you can see the Hammond Collection box that it comes in is designed to represent kind of one of the animal cages, and then has like Jurassic logos on it. I think I have done a few Hammond Collection reviews, but nothing major, mostly just the figures, then the dinosaurs. I'm not sure if I got around to doing the baryonyx, but I will be bringing it in for a comparison in a minute. But this thing is sculpted amazingly well. So there is some assembly required when you get it. The tail is separate in the box. Once it's popped in, it's not designed to pop back out. So this tail has a really nicely sculpted, almost eel-like texturing going to it, which is really nicely done. There is a bendy wire in it, so you can pose it. The thing about the Hammond Collection is where the basic collection has kind of basic articulation, the Hammond Collection steps up the game. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring in the one and only Iterator figure that I do have, which I believe was one of the Savage Strike figures from the earlier lines. And you can see the complete difference in the creature, even the paleo sculpting of this thing. It still retains the big claw arms, but the heads are completely different. The gimmick on this one was you move it and it made roaring sounds and stuff. Even the tails are different. The tail has a more reptilian look compared to that eel look. It still has the kind of ridges, but like it doesn't have the under fin here. The sculpting on the new one looks more reptilian, or more kind of, has more kind of fish scale kind of going on than this kind of more reptilian. And even the heads are completely different. You can see this ridge on its back continues all the way up. The head on the Hammond one is a lot smaller, a lot more narrower, a lot more crocodilian look. This one does have that crocodilian look as well, but this one has a far more slimline look to it. Even the eyes, the head shape, the snout placement is still around the same area, just back behind the actual nose. It has the ridge on the top, but it's just completely different. Almost looks like two different species, comparing the two of them, which is kind of interesting. There is another Iterator in the Dominion line, the kind of, you know, the basic line, and I think it's one of the ones that come with the armor stuff, the trackers. I think it's one of those. I don't have that one yet, but I do have the Hammond Collection one, which is what I'm reviewing. So if I just flatten it out as long as it goes from tip to snout, or tail to snout I should say, it does measure in around 13 inches. And then if I raise it up to its kind of more neutral position with the head up, you can raise it up higher to make it look like it's dragging its tail, but the kind of more neutral head up is just around a little under 6 inches. So depending on which way you want to line it up on your display, it does have different options. Articulation wise, tail is on a ball joint once it's plugged in. Legs can splay out, can rotate around, can actually go 360 if you want them to. There is a hinge at the upper ankle, then a hinge at the secondary ankle, and then a hinge at there, if you want to call it a knee. Sorry, hinge at the knee, hinge at the kind of secondary ankle, and then a hinge at the ankle. And it does have articulation and a rotation for the foot. There is no feet or peg holes for the feet. Unlike the other dinosaurs who have that, for just bringing Gallimimus here, who have the DNA scanting, the Hammond Collection does not have any of those. So there isn't anything that you pop out to have the barcode that you scan. The arms are on ball joints, so it can rotate all the way around. It can hinge out. There's a single hinge at the elbow. Nothing in the wrist itself. The fingers are done in this kind of clawed open, kind of grasping pattern, which is really nice. The head has four technically articulation points. You have one at the base of the neck here, the main chunk of the neck, and that's a rotation as well. Then you have the head. This also slightly rotates, not great, but it does have a slight rotation to it. You can kind of angle it. It is a bit of a ball joint. And then you have bottom jaw and top jaw, so you can actually get a very wide open mouth stance to this, or you can kind of get it closed. And it's the teeth on this thing is just amazing compared to any of the other Hammond Collection figures that I have, or Hammond Collection dinosaurs. So for example, I have the Baryonyx here, which is kind of one of its closest relatives. Has a very similar paleo look to it. You can see the teeth on the Baryonyx are still kind of chunky and blocky, kind of for that safety protocols. Whereas the ones on Iterator, because the way they did the mouth, the teeth are a separate piece and they're actually very soft, flexible plastic. They're actually very kind of rigid, kind of rubbery kind of plastic, so they're not actually sharp. They're not a solid plastic. They're not part of the sculpt of the jaw like on Baryonyx here. But like the two of these things together look really, really nice. They're kind of similar in looks with the crocodilian style long snout heads. So they do have a very nice profile. Whereas this has more crocodilian scaling pattern going on the back. This one has the ridge, but overall they look good together. And he does look odd compared to his counterpart, because if I bring in one of the, this is the Baryonyx from the kind of basic stuff. This is, I believe, the Battle Damage Baryonyx from that Owen Chase set, if I remember correctly. Or it was he came with some sort of special set. It was supposed to be Battle Damage, hence the big scarring on the neck. But it was just a basic reuse of one of the older ones. But you can see where these two still retain the look and similarities between each other. The Irritator and its kind of more run-of-the-mill action gimmick counterpart look completely different. So there is that. And I'll just bring in one thing quickly so you can see them in scale with one of the human characters. Bring in the Grant that I recently looked at, so you can see the scale, and then we'll bring in a Hammond Collection Grant, so you can see the scale. The Grant figures are generally the same scale. And then if I want to bring something from a different figure line, because I have them handy, I'll bring in, here's Penguin from the Batman Spin Masters line. It is close enough. And do we have anything else? I have a very old General Hawk. Well, not very, very old, but 2009 General Hawk from the 25th anniversary G.I. Joe line. So you can see kind of scaling of human characters to the dinosaurs. So overall, it's a really nice Hammond Collection figure. I do recommend picking it up. I have a bunch of Hammond Collection figures I need to review. Most notably, some of the Jurassic Park Velociraptors and smaller figures. And I do have the Rex as well, which I will hopefully get around to. Hopefully, I'll get a chance to get through all of them that I have, and with the others on the way that I have as well. But overall, I do like the Irritator. It's a really very nicely done dinosaur, even if it's different to its normal, as I said, the normal counterpart version. It is worth picking up. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoy this quick video review of the Hammond Collection Iterator. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Hopefully keep getting the views up so I can get more likes and subscribers for my channel. Cheers, guys.